Hello everyone! We're starting somewhere a little bit different for today's video. We are at the airport, and while we travel to our destination, let's talk about what this video is going to be all about. So I have been doing this for a while now, and it's only recently on a couple of streams that I have shown some people and they've all been quite interested. So I thought I would do a video. I kind of make my own treasure islands. And don't worry guys, you don't need to do anything spicy or not legit with your Switch in order to do this. So do keep watching if you want to learn more. So I am going via local play over to my Switch Lite, which is and used to be Pomelo, which I do have the island tour for. I will link that in the card above if you want to check out what it used to look like. Now I call this a treasure island. It's more like a resource island, a storage island where I put things when I'm in between islands, or just a place for me to store shrubbery, trees, flowers, things like that when I don't have space on my current islands, or I'm not sure which type I want to use yet. So let's fly over to Pomelo. I would say this island is probably about 90% done. There's still stuff that I haven't put out because I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to need yet for Hessian. But I thought I would give you guys a little walkthrough of how I did everything, how I've laid out and why I've laid out. And hopefully you guys will find it inspiring. If perhaps you have an island, maybe a second island that you're not too sure what to do with. This is the Flyover, giving you a little bit of a sneak peek. You'll see I still have a lot of my original Pomelo villagers. I think only one or two have moved out. Obviously I'm having to use my Hessian Switch to do this because we can't stream on the Switch Lite, which is another reason why I wanted to make the most of my Switch Lite and make this resource island. Okay, so let's look at the map first. Just a little bit of a scary map. It's a lot of pathing, very plain. But this is what we're working with. So as you can see, everything is quite uniform. We have all the useful things to the front of the island. Makes it very easy if we have villagers in boxes or we want to pop to Abel's or anything like that really. So I added these codes. I will eventually be updating my card, which is linked down below, just to show all of these Pomelo 2.0 codes as well. Just to give myself a reminder, and maybe one day I might open this up to subscribers or friends, and just so they know where to go to. So I think we'll start this side because this is my favourite little super organised area. We have our campsite here, and then we just have this row of useful items. So obviously we have the crafting table, the bin, our mailbox, storage shed and ATM. This pipe takes us directly to the back of the island where there is another super useful area. So we'll go to that shortly. This section here is for my money spot and my gyroids and my fossils. So they will all be there. I don't have a money spot today because I literally have just finished mapping out this island and I didn't have enough space for the money spot to generate this morning. So it will be there, just imagine it. I've moved all of my rocks along here. This fencing works to separate the items that will be to the right, but it also means you can hit all rocks 8 times and get the most out of them. So most of the separate areas where I will have droppable items on this island will be fenced off, and I will obviously then have the decision and the power as to whether or not I block them off for certain people visiting. So for example, if someone wants to pop over for some Nook Mile tickets, I might not want them to come and get all my droppable items. So I can just fill in these gaps, fence it off, and then all they can go to is the designated area that I would like them to. This is one of the areas that isn't finished. So we have our little leaf here to indicate that's where our dropped items will go, but I'm not sure which items I want to put here yet, so that's just been left empty for now. We have our rugs, our wallpaper and our flooring, and up here we just have a little fossils section. Most of these are actually from this island where I've dug them up, and obviously this island is kind of complete now in terms of gameplay, so any fossils are just going to go down here. And then if we run across here, you'll see we have our villager houses, my house there, Nooks and Ables and the museum right at the front, just to keep them organised and tidy. If we run down here, we have the second section of items. So I have DIYs. Again, these are mostly from this island. I am trying to give this character a complete set of DIYs, just because also I think that's going to be a useful resource to have. So these are all duplicate DIYs that this character already has. This is the Nook Mole ticket section. It's looking a bit messy. I've already used this section a couple of times, so it's a bit sparse. And again, this is a huge area where all the hard work's been done in terms of putting the pathing down, but I haven't put any items out yet. So eventually this will all be separated into different categories, but I thought there was enough there to sort of give you a general idea of how it's going to look. So if we head up to this section, I have my little hybrid farm area. So up here I have a watering can and a shovel, just in case I come over here and I forget. Again, this will probably be sort of locked away and sectioned off if I have anyone else on the island, unless they're specifically there for some hybrid flowers. I haven't done too much here yet. I need to get rid of these custom codes so they can grow. Also, most of the area that's just grass does have transparent codes over the top of them, just so the fossils will generate in the correct area and I won't have to run around the island to try and find them. I will insert a little clip here of how I usually do the transparent tiles. I like to create them myself. So first of all, I'll just create it as a white tile, just so it makes it a lot easier to know where you've been. And then I will change the design from white to transparent, and just like magic, it changes and I don't have to worry about accidentally missing areas. So at the moment on Hessian, the only hybrid flowers I really need are orange hyacinths. So this is my little area here. Again, I need to get rid of those little wood custom designs so they actually do breed. But eventually, I guess with other islands and potentially other flower requirements, this area could become significantly more full. Little sneak peek at the back there of what that has to offer, so let's head that way now. So you may be wondering why I have this random cliff here. This is the third island I've changed to be a resource island over time, so I think I'm getting pretty good at it. What I also like about these islands is if I ever want to do like a completionist island and I want to cheat without cheating too much. So I know on treasure islands you can literally pick up all of the bugs, all of the fish, etc. And obviously it fills up your Critterpedia and you know you can complete the game that way. And as much as I have no problem with that, and I definitely have no problem with using treasure islands, there's something about actually catching the bugs and the fish yourself that's quite special. So I make sure on these islands that I have a space where I will be able to catch every single bug and every single fish that I can. Now obviously some fish are clifftop fish, which is why I've created this little clifftop here, and you have to make sure that it is connected in some way to the main river. So again, I just have this tiny little connecting waterfall at the back here, just to make sure it does actually count and spawn the correct fish. And also on a similar note, we have tree stumps too, because obviously we need those for some of the bugs as well. So back here we have our tree farm. Now I would usually have another shovel up here, but it's not there, and some more fruit and maybe just some food to eat, as that's a bit speedier. So this is one of my favourite areas because you don't see this on many treasure islands. Don't get me wrong, I've seen them on some. And that is trees of all different growth stages. Some of them are a work in progress. I have just recently used this island to get trees for Hessian, so we've planted some new ones and they'll be replaced out shortly. So I mean, even palm trees and bamboo we have at all the different growth stages because they're so pretty. And it's so much easier than having to do any unnecessary time travelling on your own island. So all the different stages, and I love using trees of different sizes on my islands, so this does make up quite a large area of this island. We have multiple different sections with all the different stages of trees. Back here we have my somewhat impressive flower collection. I mentioned in one of my previous island tours that some of the hybrid flowers that I have go on every single island of mine, and they all come from my first ever island. And this is where I have been storing them. So obviously all of the white ones, they aren't too impressive. It's just good to stockpile those, I think, because I don't know about you guys, but using the white flowers is probably one of my favourite things to do, along with like a pop of another colour perhaps. So we have all of these hybrids. Now I know these gold roses are 100% from my first ever Animal Crossing island because it's the only island that I was bothered to try and create golden roses. So I like to keep them as a little sentimental thing. They've been here with me since day one, along with a lot of the other hybrids, but they do all kind of get a bit confused over time. This is the pipe which leads back to the front of the island, just to make things even more convenient. And then if we speed across here, we have our farm area. And again, I try and pick these and water these on different days, so we have some variety, 1, 2, 3 carrots, etc. So it's not just one of each. And then over here we have our fruit trees. Looks like we have red today as well. Just a couple of each, as I don't really think there's much need for any more than that. And our beaches are just covered in weeds and not much else. Again, kind of a little resource should you need some weeds, and obviously people can come and pick up shells and bottles and anything that they fancy. Of course, I have my little stash of spoilt turnips. As I've previously mentioned, they're kind of like my little signature that I like to have on every single island, so it's always good to have a stash of those lying around. And that's it, guys. I really hope this helps give you a little bit of inspiration if you perhaps have an island, maybe a second island that you're not sure what to do with, to just give yourself something fun like this. I know that visiting, modded treasure islands can be quite scary and intimidating, and sometimes it can be very time consuming as well. I'm not going to lie, this has taken me quite some time to obviously flatten the island, organise the rocks and all the different spaces, etc. But once it's done, it's kind of like your forever resource island. And it's a great way to combat losing items as well if you are a restarter like me as opposed to a flattener. Please do like, comment and subscribe, and let me know if you're inspired to do this on your island, or maybe even just a part of it on your island. I'm looking forward to hearing all of your thoughts. Please do check my card linked down below for all of my socials, including my Instagram and new Discord server, my YouTube schedule, and to submit your island for an island tour. Thank you so much for watching. I'll speak to you soon.
Subscribe to my videos and hit the bell. Ring. Bye for now. See you soon.